Dilution of fight against terrorism. Why there is a dilution? The reasons are listed here. We will discuss. Before that, let's analyze the basics. Pre-9/11, the fight against terrorism was domestic in nature. That implies there was a pure terrorist and my terrorist philosophy. Because of this, terrorism was considered as a domestic issue and there was no collective fight against terrorism at a global scale. Post 9/11, terrorism has become a global issue and USA has started war against terrorism. UNSC Counter-Terrorism Committee was formed and number of resolutions have been passed. Now coming to the present status, we are moving back to YT and mighty philosophy. That is your terrorist and my terrorist philosophy. Why? Because these are the reasons or examples. In the EU, that means in the Europe is suffering with right-wing terrorism. So the focus of Europe and USA shifted towards domestic issues. Because of this, EU has become a defensive towards other forms and in other places where terrorism is happening. In the USA, region or ethnically motivated violent extremism has been increasing. So its focus shifted to this issue. When there is a defensive nature or division in the focus, obviously there is a dilution in the global fight against terrorism. Now coming to the second issue, justification. Now, for example, here UN Alliance of Civilization has justified the attacks against terrorism. For example, in the case of France, where terrorist attacks have happened, it said because of inflammatory remarks, those attacks have happened. So that is one kind of justification. And because of justification, there will be the illusion in the fight. And the next issue, politicization. Here you can see this example. Please note that I have given as many examples as possible. You should note that examples are extremely important to get additional marks. Everyone writes these points, but only few will be able to write these examples and they will get additional marks. I repeat once again, examples are extremely important. Please give little more attention towards the examples. So now coming to this example, there is a proposal to declare March 15 as International Day to combat Islamophobia. And because of this proposal, there is a division among the countries. This proposal was given by these three countries, OIC, China and Russia, and there are other countries which does not support this. As soon as there is a politicization, there is a division among the countries. Finally, the illusion fight against terrorism. And coming to the fourth issue, if you see, OECs are heavily funding UN Alliance of Civilization and UN counter-terrorism activities. On the other hand, many terrorism-related funding are flowing from OICs. So there is a conflict of interest. There is a issue over here that we need to address. And what is the India stand? India says there is no whitey mighty or good terrorist or bad terrorist philosophy. Terrorism is a global issue. And the second point, UN Global Counter-Terrorism Strategy. Global Counter-Terrorism Strategy says any act of terrorism is criminal and unjustifiable. No one can justify the terrorism based on any remark. So the third one, India also said there is a phobia against Hindu, Buddhism, and Sikh, and we cannot simply restrict that phobias to Abrahamic religions. So we did not agree the resolution on March 15, that declaration. So examples India has quoted. These examples you should also note. So finally, India has also proposed to include these words, pluralism and zero tolerance towards terrorism, these words in the resolutions related to terrorism. But there are countries which did not support. Again, there is a division. And finally, there is a dilution.